Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Crabtree, and today I will be talking about microbes. So we're going to start out with just going over what a microbe is and making sure that everyone knows the definition. So microbes are microscopic organisms like bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae, and their anatomy helps them survive, reproduce, get nutrients, and interact with their environment. Um, Most microbes are unicellular and small enough that they require really strong magnification to be seen. And some unicellular microbes are visible to the naked eye. Um, they have to measure at about 100 micrometers to be seen without a microscope, but many are much smaller than this. So most of the time that we encounter these microbes that we are so excited to learn about, we will need to use a microscope. So first, types of microbes. We have bacteria, we have fungi, we have protozoa, and we have algae, and we have a virus. So I want to go over really quick the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic. So prokaryotic microorganisms, bacteria can be prokaryotic, and pathogens can be prokaryotes, and that means they do not have a nucleus. And eukaryotic means that you do have a nucleus. I like to think of this as there is a U in eukaryotic, and so that means you have one. Okay, so bacteria, they are prokaryotic, no nucleus here. They have a cell wall, which gives shape and protects. They have like a plasma membrane, cell membrane, and that controls what comes in and what goes right out the door. They do have cytoplasm, that is the fluid that surrounds all the internal systems, kind of as a protection as well. We have plasmid, and that is your cellular DNA vault. We have the polis, which are these little hair-like um, material, this hair-like material, and it actually helps attach the bacteria to the host. And we have the flagella, which is exactly what it looks like. It looks like a long tail. If it's a duck, and it looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck, and that looks like a tail. And that actually helps with movement in our bacteria. So next we will move on to some fungi. So in a fungi, we have the cell wall, gives shape and protects. We have the nucleus. We have the hyphae. We have septum, and we have a vacuole. The nucleus helps store our genetic information, and that hyphae they are thin filaments that take in nutrients. So that is how our fungi is staying strong. Let's go over to the protozoan. And as you notice, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. If it has a tail, it is a tail. That is the flagella. It also is composed of, it has vacuoles. So it has a food vacuole, and it has a vacuole, a storage vacuole, and that pumps water out of the cell. And then the food vacuole helps digest ingested food. We have a cell wall and cell membrane. As you can see, we have mitochondria, some endoplasmic reticulum, a nuclear membrane, and Golgi body. And here are our algae. Algae has a protist that can be unicellular or multicellular, and the cell walls are actually made of cellulose, and it is photosynthetic. And last but not least, we do have virus. It is acellular, and it is composed of proteins and genetic material. As you see, the glycoproteins, some lipid bilayer, nucleocaspid protein, and RNA. where do we find microbes? So we find microbes in archaea, which is unicellular prokaryotic organisms. Archaeal cell walls do not contain peptidoglycan. And then we have bacteria. So most bacteria, I know it sounds a little scary, can actually be harmless. And we will get into that a little bit later whenever we're talking about the uses in human day-to-day life. But they're mostly harmless and some are helpful. But some can become pathogens, which can cause disease in humans and other animals. We cannot forget about our furry friends. A lot of veterinarians study pathogens, as well as other doctors. And then we have the eukarya. So all eukaryotes, including uni or multicellular, eukaryotes like protists, fungi, plants, and animals, eukaryonucleus. They have a nucleus, and we can find microbes in eukarya. All right. So what is the microbe's role in an environment? We microbes play a very important role with oxygen production. They are releasing that back into the air. Nutrients. They help recycle nutrients, break down what we need to, and help build back up. And we have environmental impacts. They can maintain an ecosystem balance. They help animals digest food. And they decompose dead material. Helping decompose that dead material keeps an environmental balance throughout, and it kind of helps keeps our system regulated. What are some human uses for microbes? This was the most interesting to me. So, microbes in medicine, food, and agriculture. So, microbes in medicine can be vaccines or it can be antibiotics. As I have discussed previously, microbes in medicine like play a day-to-day role in a clinic. So we hear about different types of bacteria coming back in cultures that are resistant, or certain medications will not work for it, or one medication could cover most of them. With UTIs and getting back urine cultures, we see this quite a bit. We see a lot of resistance, and you can also hear about people becoming resistant to drugs. They've taken so many antibiotics, their body has built up an immunity, and this same antibiotic will not help fight off the bacteria that they have. And we know that vaccines are tailored to what they are fighting. So, like the COVID-19 vaccine is tailored to that COVID virus to try to help protect against it, expose your body to it. And for food, we have yeast and bacteria. So, healthy yeast to help make our breads, and I'm a huge bread fan. So, I don't mind a little bit of microbe being in my food, and I'm a huge Greek yogurt fan. So, I like Greek yogurt, I like regular yogurt, and those same bacteria, those healthy gut bacteria, they are so good for your gut, and they are in yogurt. They are found in our foods. We also know that it can be used for agriculture and soil health. Help the breakdown of different different things in the soil. And also, I did read that algae. There are some products contain ingredients that come from algae, and that can be like ice cream, salad dressing, and toothpaste. And I thought that was very interesting. So, in conclusion, we have discussed what microbes are and how small they are, and that they are organisms like bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae. We know that if they are 100 micrometers, that we can see them, but if they are not, if they are shorter, they are smaller than that, we're going to have to use higher magnification. We have discussed prokaryote, and eukaryote. Eukaryote the cell, pro doesn't. And we have discussed the pro. We have discussed bacteria, fungi, protozoan, and algae, virus. We've discussed where they're found, and yeah. So thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something.